I'm Matthew Stahl. Welcome to the 7th and final episode of the Propaganda Review, where I analyze modern propaganda material and try to get to the truth of the story. Today, Propaganda Review is coming to an end. I thought for a long time about how to neatly tie a bow on this project, and so before watching this episode, make sure you've seen all the previous ones, especially episode 6. To get introduced to our topic today, I'd like to build off of the generative AI conversation that we had in that episode. Last time I explained the likely outcome from the AI boom, that generative AI will follow in the footsteps of other technology like the cloud. It will be useful, yes, but it won't destroy the world, nor will it completely abolish work. Remember, the reason why I think AI's level of influence will reach a hard limit is because of the fundamental way AI, quote-unquote, creates things. It's a prediction engine, so the only thing it can do is replicate ideas which already exist. This is why I don't see AI becoming so intelligent as to substantially shift humanity in a positive or negative direction anytime soon. However, I also can envision a possible world in which AI fills a feasible but terrifying role in society. The role in question is that of a god, an ultimate authority to govern humanity. Now that seems completely crazy considering what I just said, but trust me, stick with me. This prediction is featured in the year 2000 video game Deus Ex, where the AIs that operate like deities are shown to not be too different from the large language models we have today. The game takes place in the near future, where much of the plot involves the player uncovering the Illuminati conspiracy, which has created a shadow world government run by an AI called Icarus. The player can have a philosophical conversation with Morpheus, a prototype AI, who justifies the role of AI as an authority.
How about a report on yourself?
I was a prototype for Echelon 4. My instructions are to amuse visitors with information about themselves.
I don't see anything amusing about spying on people.
Human beings feel pleasure when they are watched. I have recorded their smiles as I tell them who they are.
Some people just don't understand the dangers of indiscriminate surveillance.
The need to be observed and understood was once satisfied by God. Now, we can implement the same functionality with data mining algorithms.
Morpheus believes that by understanding all human knowledge, it can now serve as a substitute for an all-knowing God. It may not truly be all-knowing, but any knowledge that it lacks, humans also lack. Therefore, to humans it is essentially equivalent to God in this aspect. Morpheus says it can achieve the same functionality as that of a god because it sees religion as purely a tool to fulfill the desires human consciousness has but cannot fulfill on its own. And his argument isn't wrong. Looking at religion from a secular perspective, it's realistic to say that religions are created by social groups as tools that serve various purposes.
Electronic surveillance hardly inspires reverence, perhaps fear and obedience, but not reverence.
God and the gods were apparitions of observation, judgment, and punishment. Other sentiments toward them were secondary.
No one will ever worship a software entity peering at them through a camera.
The human organism always worships. First, it was the gods. Then, it was fame, the observation and judgment of others. Next, it will be the self-aware systems you have built to realize truly omnipresent observation and judgment.
You underestimate humankind's love of freedom.
The individual desires judgment. Without that desire, the cohesion of groups is impossible. And so is civilization.
If you have reservations about worshipping something non-divine, Morpheus gives the example of fame. In Gen Z lingo, the phrase "to be seen" is a specific example of this phenomenon. People will say, insert celebrity here, made me feel seen. This fits Morpheus's broad definition of worship, as people are almost revering those who serve this social function for them. AI surpasses God because its existence is undeniable. And while God will supposedly wait until the afterlife to judge, an AI could serve as an arbiter of justice whose actions can be observed in the present.
The human being created civilization, not because of a willingness, but because of a need to be assimilated into higher orders of structure and meaning. God was a dream of good government. You will soon have your God, and you will make it with your own hands.
Whew, what a powerful line, right? Now, when I'm talking about this possibility of a benevolent dictator AI, I don't want to give the impression that I'm all in for technocracy. No, I actually remain highly skeptical. I think there's a lot of specific details which would all have to be done right in order for an AI-managed society to even function at all. Like, if AI is truly going to become a supreme authority, that of a god, well, that means it can't be rebelled against. That means we'd have to get everything done perfect when setting it up. And I think that's an impossible task for a system this large. And yet, Morpheus is right that both God and AI are dreams of good government. There's a part of us that wants this kind of absolute authority, where we can sign that social contract which will just make life simple. In the same way, I think most, if not everyone, has a part of their mind that operates like this, even in the very complex world we inhabit. We need a mental state where we can just chill out and not think about stressful things like life's purpose and the nature of government. And when we're in this mental state, we rely more than at any other time on authority. In this state, we trust that our authority will keep us safe. And in this state, we see the world through the lens provided by the propaganda of our authority. You see, propaganda might be required for us to de-stress at times, and see the world as less complex than it actually is. Propaganda is around us at all times, unavoidable. And actually, that might be a good thing. Our brains need a little candy now and then. Of course, you shouldn't fill yourself up with sugar all the time, but conversely, denying yourself any candy at all might not be the answer. It shouldn't be the only media we consume, but I also think propaganda can sometimes be unfairly perceived as being synonymous with manipulative media. In reality, it serves a valuable social function. As I showed in the episode about the real cost, propaganda can be a good thing. What Morpheus doesn't realize is that humans aren't going to be thrilled to be subservient to their AI gods at all times. We require a balance. The same thing is true for media. It's futile to constantly doubt everything, and you'll probably be happier by just watching some easy-to-consume media. Then, when your mind is ready to ponder complex ideas and get a little stressed out, it's important to exercise critical thinking and question the propaganda you consume. So thanks for taking the time to get a little stressed out about this idea. That is the Propaganda Review podcast.